Congratulations, you got the promotion. New title, maybe a bigger team. Maybe your name moved up a line on the organization chart. And then you opened your next salary slip, and it was exactly the same as the month before. And nobody really explained why. So now you are sitting with this strange, quiet feeling, somewhere between proud and insulted, wondering if you just got recognized or if you just got used. Here's what I can tell you. I have spent 30 years on either side of the table where this call gets made, and a promotion with no raise is almost never random. There are three specific reasons a company does this. Two of them are good news for you, one of them is a quiet warning. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which one you are looking at and exactly what to do about it. So, reason number one, the two clocks. Here is the first thing nobody tells you. In most companies, your title and your money are not one decision. They are two completely separate doors, controlled by two different sets of people or two different calendars. A title change can often be pushed through any time of the year. Why? Because on paper, today it costs the company nothing. Your manager can walk it through and get it approved off cycle. But the raise that's supposed to come with it usually gets logged in the annual pay review. And that budget might only open once a year. So you can get the title in October while the money that belongs to it is sitting frozen until April review. That's not a snub, that's a calendar. I have watched this exact thing happen to a category manager in retail whom I was coaching. Promoted right in the middle of the festive rush. Title was in, the money was waiting. Same pattern with an operations lead in a bank. Moved up mid year. The raise was real, it was just standing behind a date. And here's the good news, if this is your situation, you haven't lost anything, you are just early. But what happens if you ask about that date and the answer comes back vague? That's when you have to look at the second reason. And the second reason is the one most people get completely wrong about themselves. And the reason number two is the band you cannot see. Every role sits inside a pay band, a floor, and a ceiling for that level. The new title that you just got has its own band too. And here's the part almost nobody explains to you. Those bands overlap. The top of the old level can be higher than the bottom of your new one. So, if you were already being paid near the top of your old band, you can move up a title and still land comfortably inside the new band, which means by the company's math, you are already being paid fairly for that bigger role. So, no raise needed. Now, sometimes that's completely honest. But here's where it gets a little interesting. This is also the easiest place for a company to quietly get a bigger job out of you for free. I saw a shift lead in a manufacturing plant get the senior title and three more production lines to run. And because he was already well paid, they called it square. He is now doing a far bigger job inside the same number. And that's not against any rule. It's just a deal he didn't know he was negotiating. And here's the tell, ask where you sit inside the new band. If you're near the bottom, the raise should be on its way. And if nobody will tell you where you sit, that silence is information too. Now, I want you to stop and think honestly about your own situation for a second. Not the story you have been telling your friends, the real ones. Because the third reason is the hardest one to hear and the most important one to get right. And the reason three is the promotion they haven't finished giving you. Sometimes the title is real, but it isn't finished. It's provisional. The room agreed you have earned the bigger role. They did not agree to bet on the budget on you. So they hand you the role and they watch from the other side of the table. The conversation sounds like this. Let's give the stretch. Let's see if they can actually carry it at this level before we commit the money. It is not punishment. It is a test you were never told you are sitting. I watched this happen to a finance manager who was genuinely strong, sharp, reliable. The person whole team leaned on. They moved her up, held the money, and waited to see one thing. Would she start operating like the new level or keep doing her old job beautifully with a bigger title on her email signature? She kept doing the old job brilliantly, but the old job, and a year later, the race still hadn't come. Because in the room, nothing had actually changed except the words under her name. This is the warning. If you treat your professional promotion like a reward, you just stall. If you treat it like an audition, you convert it. So, which of the three are you actually looking at? Because here's the truth, most of the people never find out. They just feel quite resentful and wait. And waiting is one move that works in none of these three cases. Here's how to tell them apart, and here's what exactly you need to do. Remember what I said at the start? Two are good news, one is a warning. The way you tell them apart comes down to these three things you go and get. First is clarity. Ask in plain words, when does the pay that matches the title gets reviewed and what triggers it? A clear date means you are in the timing situation. That's good news. Just put in your diary and stop worrying. The second one, confidence. Ask where you sit inside the new band. That is not a rude question. It is the most normal question to ask in the level you walked into. If you are at the bottom, the money should follow. The third one is communication. If it turns out to be provisional, your job is not to send a frustrated message about the missing race today. Your job is to start visibly operating at the new level, write down the impact that you are creating, and bring that evidence into the pay conversation at the right instance of time. Clarity, confidence, and communication. Because here's the real thing underneath all of this, a promotion without a raise is not an insult, and it is not a gift either. It's a question the company is asking you. Will you actually operate at this level? Your raise is the answer they gave you. Once you have answered theirs. If this gave you a clearer way to read your own situation, hit the like button. It tells me that these conversations are worth having more of. If you want to keep seeing how these decisions really get made from the other side, most people never get to see, subscribe. Couple of videos a week, no fluff. And if you know someone who got the title but not the money and has been quietly been stewing about it, send them this. Sometimes one clear explanation changes the whole way someone plays the next year. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.